This is Border Crossings. I'm Larry London. Today, we are joined by singer-songwriter Amy Ray. As one half of the Grammy-winning folk duo Indigo Girls, along with partner Emily Sailors, the duo formed in 1981, but met in elementary school. Amy is currently on tour in support of her newest CD, Holler, which is her 9th solo album. Amy describes her latest music as a combination of old punk sensibility and southern rock. She combines the use of the dobro, mandolin, fiddle, guitar, strings, and horns to add some swagger. Guests on the new album include guitarist Derek Trucks, Vince Gill, Brandi Carlile, and Justin Vernon of Bon Iver. There are many songs which are very personal for Amy, and she'll perform several of them on today's show. So stay tuned for Amy Ray coming up next here on Border Crossings. Hi, I'm Larry London. Welcome to Border Crossings. It's a very special show today. We welcome back an old friend. She's been with us. We just counted. This is her 6th time in the studios here at the Voice of America over the last 11 years. We'd like to welcome back to D.C. and to Border Crossings, Amy Ray. It is so nice to see you again.
It's good to see you.
Great to have you here, both with Emily and the Indigo Girls and also solo, which today you're doing, your solo tour and solo performance. 9th album for you. Holler. That's amazing. Yeah,
including the live records. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
9 records. Wow. So how does Holler differ than the last album you put out a few years back?
It's more country, kind of Americana, and the last record I did is as well. So, and before that it was kind of punk and rock. Mm-hmm. Starting in 2001, I just started putting stuff out. But the band that I have now, the majority of them made Goodnight Tender, that country record that came out in 2014, and then we've done the Holler record, which is, it's country, but it's like Americana, Southern, whatever, mishmash.
Southern rock. You
Southern
had
rock.
mentioned that you wanted to do your own version of Southern rock. You're from, the Georgia area, so you know what Southern rock is better than most. And so, I mean, what's your version of Southern rock? I know you've got Vince Gill on this particular album.
Yeah, Vince and the Wood Brothers and Brandi Carlile and Phil Cook, and there's a lot of people. It's
Derek Trucks.
Derek's doing some stuff.
Wow.
These guys, except we have this keyboard player over here, Dan Walker. He's on keys, and he's visiting us for some touring. Mm-hmm. And then Jeff is Jeff Fielder. He played on Goodnight Tender and Holler, and then Adrian Carter played on both records as well. And Dan's from, a lot of different people. John Fulbright and Hart and Ann Wilson, and
wow.
Just the list keeps growing as we talk about music together. So.
Well, it's definitely a thrill and a treat to have you back.
It's good to be here.
And I know you've been touring the world, for that matter, with your music over the last dozen years or so. And so, if you wouldn't mind doing a song, we'd like to start us off with a song from Amy Ray.
This is a song called "Sure Feels Good Anyway," and it's on Holler. And all right, you want to count us in, or you want me to? All right.
1, 2, 1, 2.
Cross back over the border again. Bye-bye, Canada. Hello, USA. Those lefty songs make a lot of sense. Sometimes it's nice to feel good in my skin, but I trade it all for some southern hospitality. I know that you don't like me, but it sure feels good anyway. Don't like me, but it sure feels good anyway. I'm gonna tell them boys, don't be a drag. just wanna sit on the porch with you and hear Tall Pines Creek, feel sweating in September when that sun goes down. I know that you don't like me, but it sure feels good anyway. I know that you don't like me, but it sure feels good anyway. Sure feels good. Gravel from the road in the bottom of my boot, the kiss that you left still burning through. I can't rest till I get back home to you. Gravel from the road in the bottom of my boot, the kiss that you left still burning through. I can't rest till I get back home to you.
Woo! Amy Ray, live on the Voice of America. I got the hairs on the back of my neck standing up. I love listening to your voice, and I know that the music is always, you've got a message. There's always something that's driving that song that you record and you write and you put out there, which is an extension of yourself and how you see things and you experience things. And I heard you talk about the flag in that. I know is this the song that deals with the Confederate flag?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So as somebody coming from Georgia, this has got to be, particularly of concern to you. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, well, it's an issue that in the South that we've been polarized about for many years. And this song just grew out of, I live in kind of a rural area that's pretty conservative politically and different from, where I sit as an activist. And, but, I love my neighbors and I like the dialogue and I like to hear why people feel the way they feel and, to have a conversation, basically. But this song is, we've had some big issues in my little town around the Confederate flag and just what to do. And, and we've had people protesting, people flying it, and just everything about it. But this song grew out of just a particular incident in town that had to do with someone, just kind of some shenanigans that they were dealing with, like putting up a marker that some building had been a historical meeting place of the KKK and Confederate flags everywhere, and there was a protest. And I was just thinking about how, there was, for me, I was, as I grew up in the South, I didn't understand the history of that flag and kind of when it became popular again and what it stood for as far as the resurgence of it being sort of to fight back against the Reconstruction and people of color having rights and stuff. And so I, when I was young, I didn't understand that history, and so I was very like, rebel flag, And as I got older, I understood what it meant and what it was all about. And I think there's a lot of people in that arena that just feel attached to the history because, we're Southern, but we have to come to terms with it, and like this song is about that, like we're good people. And we can be better than this, we've got it in ourselves to be better. And that's kind of what it's like to my neighbors and the people that I love who feel differently from me, and just kind of trying to say, I know we're good people because you're there for me when I need you, but I know you don't agree with me and half the time don't even like me, but I want to be here. I want to be where I live. I want to be in the South. I want to stay in the South. I want to be in a rural area. So there's always a rub, and I like that. It's a challenge to have that rub. So
and you have the platform to do that, because you're
I
given
do.
an opportunity to reach many, many people, millions of people.
Well, everybody's got a platform.
Yeah, but I mean,
just it might be in your workplace, or it might not, or it might be just at your dinner table, just to talk about it.
Is it therapeutic to be able to put your feelings to
Sure,
words and music?
of course. Yeah, it's always therapeutic. Yeah, and it's just, music is, it's mostly, I mean, we talk about solo records, but it's like, really, I'm like a born collaborator. So for me, it's like, the therapy is also like playing with my band and like talking about life and being in the van and driving to shows and just what happens when you have a team, and you're just like accomplishing like something, and by the end of the day, you've played a show and you've unloaded and loaded and done all the things that you do as the process of touring. So I enjoy that, and that's part of being solo is just being able to be hands on, and do that. And with Indigo Girls, it's a slightly different paradigm that I live in.
And it's kind of interesting that you can go back and forth because a lot of artists who choose to do solo material don't tend to go back to what they used to do. And you go back and forth and you do it well with Emily, without Emily. And apparently you both have a very happy arrangement that allows you to go back and forth.
It's an open marriage, an open musical marriage. Yeah, and I think like for Emily, she does solo stuff and she does it for different reasons, and I do it for the musical reason, but also a lot of it is just to play with different people, to have different collaborators, to be honest. And also I like the process of being a DIY artist, and some people, when they go back to doing solo stuff, they don't really enjoy that process. So they enjoy other things. But for me, I'm kind of a glutton for punishment, I guess. But I enjoy it because it reminds me too of like what it takes to be on the road. And then I often appreciate when I go back to Indigo Girls, I appreciate the crew more, and I appreciate the tour manager's job and how hard it is, and it just makes me more empathetic.
It's like coming home after being away for a
Yeah,
while.
and it's like walking a mile in someone else's shoes sometimes too,
Yes.
which is always a good thing to do.
Now, you met Emily in 1981. You formed, actually, you might have met long
We
before
met
that,
long before
in
that,
elementary
yeah.
school.
74.
Oh, my gosh. And then you decided to, you stayed together for most of your school years. And then in college, you said, we're going to different colleges.
She was a year older than me, so she went to Tulane when I was
Okay.
a senior in high school in New Orleans, and then she was there for 2 years. And her second year she was there, I was at Vanderbilt for a year, and then we both decided to go back to Emory in Atlanta, Emory University, where we graduated from. But I think both of us had different reasons. I mean, we were playing music during the summer, and on the weekends I would go to New Orleans and we would, busk in Jackson Square, or she would come to Atlanta and we'd play in Piedmont Park or our old stomping grounds. But we both just weren't making it very well in the towns that we were in emotionally, I think. And so we wanted to get back to Atlanta and back to our roots. And then it was a very happy thing to be able to just play together all the time and build a career.
And all the great albums that have come out of that collaboration ever since. And, of course, your great music. You still have your own label, your own independent, Damon?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I use to put out my solo stuff. And we've got a catalog that's pretty cool of some cool records. But honestly, I some of my artists wanted to keep on stay on the label, and I was like, you're going to make more money and do better for yourself just doing it yourself. Because at this point, it's so, if you're a self-starter, and you're motivated enough, it's just easier to put your own stuff out, and it's, and hire all the people to do the things.
It's a very different business than
It
when you
is.
started.
Yeah.
I mean, you've had to change with the business, which you've done very well. Now that you can buy one song at a time as opposed to the albums, back when you first started.
Yeah, it's almost like the 50s again, where singles are.
Yeah.
It's
The A-side, B-side.
Yeah.
Well, we're talking with Amy Ray, and Holler's the name of the newest CD, the 9th CD. You mentioned you've got before we went on the air, that you're working on something new with Emily for the Indigo Girls. But this tour is all about Holler. And where's the tour taking you? Are you just in the United States? Is this a world tour?
Oh, God, I wish we could do a world tour. We could barely figure out how to load the van right now. But no, we want to go do other things. But I think we're all limited by having a lot other bands that we play with and other things that we do. And so right now we're just focusing on, obviously, the U.S. because we don't even have that much traction here. It's a club tour. We do the whole. We try to eventually, when we have a record out, play regionally, like in every region in some way.
For somebody that's had a 30-year career, what's been the highlight for you so far?
There's a million highlights.
If you could pick one, or somebody said, "Sorry, Amy, you got to give us one." Couldn't do it.
I wouldn't be able to do it. I mean,
The Grammy, something.
I always say opening for the Grateful Dead because it's still like in my mind, like this moment of like, just otherworldliness, like of being on that stage and side stage while Jerry is out there playing, and then he passed away shortly after that. But it's all about who we've played with. It's always about that. And this band has gotten to do a lot of really cool things. We've opened for Tedeschi Trucks, and that's been a real highlight for us. And with Emily, playing with REM in the early days, and then doing a lot of shows with Brandy Carlisle, that was kind of a highlight of our career. Just that collaboration we had for a while, and It's a million. I mean, you couldn't even like. I couldn't even. You know what I mean?
You
It's
can't
like
pick, the whole thing. It's a tree with so many branches.
Maybe like one thing, maybe something that I'd never thought I'd do is like, we were down in the jungle in southern Mexico with the Zapatistas, you know, at a conference, you know, like with Subcomandante, you know, David and Marcos and all those guys and the girls, the women, you know, who are the women soldiers, and just learning about that. I'm always going to go towards the activism as being highlight, because it's like just the things that the people you meet, they're so inspiring, you know, they give their life to things, to whatever they're giving their life to, you know.
And I know you had created a charity foundation, the Honor of the Earth.
Yeah.
Is that still
going?
Still going strong.
Yeah, we're doing a lot of really cool stuff. We sort of work to fund good energy projects. So we just help fund the beginning of a solar panel factory on native land, and it's Aking, and they're making solar panels, you know, which is cool. And we funded a lot of wind energy. We work to fight, you know, for us, we fight what we call bad energy projects, you know, and support good energy projects. But we do a lot of granting to youth organizations. We do a lot of granting to native agricultural stuff, to, you know, sustainability type issues, language programs, arts. But we're still going strong. We started in like 93, I believe, and we even have some of the same board members still. And Winona LaDuke is still our executive director. So it's really good. I mean, it's one of the things I'm really proud of, is that it's still happening, you know, through all it's hard, you know, because you get discouraged depending on where you stand and who's got the power and what's happening around the world with environmental, you know, stuff. But we just keep doing it.
I don't think we take the environment seriously enough. I think that we're going to hear a lot more about it in the next couple of years.
Yeah.
But I mean, we need to really get on the ball. We're behind.
That's why we really started working with Native groups, because they really have a focus and a paradigm and a way and an infrastructure of the activism within those communities. It's ground zero for a lot of stuff, because they are the victims of so much environmental racism that they are the canary in the coal mine half the time. And Emily and I were like, this is who we want to work with, because they know what's going on before we do, or they're willing to be accountable to it in ways that we aren't a lot of times. And so there's a lot of good projects in Native country, and there's a lot of good projects that a lot of people are doing, and we just need to, all of us just need to fund those and, like, you know, be active in it.
Get behind
because it's only going to happen on a local level right now.
Right.
I mean, that's where it's going to happen.
We've got Amy Ray in our studios with the band, and Holler's the name of the album. Would you do another song for us?
Yeah, we're going to do the song called Holler, which is a
title track?
It's the title track. It's a very unusual title track.
What's this one about?
You know, this is the last song I wrote for this record, and I kind of wrote it in the studio. And I kept saying to the guys, I'm going to write one more song, I promise, you know, and then I did. I worked on it at night and everything, and Jeff helped me kind of put the final seal on it, and I needed that. So it's a love song, pure and simple. So
great. It's called Holler.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Come and sit down at this table where we've shared all of our food, where we've argued till we're nothing but a shell of what we knew. Let me count the ways I love you and the ways I hurt you too. Let me hang there in the balance. I would die to be new, 'cause it's true most of the time. Tread treading water with no sign. Keeping my head just high enough to holler. If you believe, then I believe too. And it's true, I'm scared of dying. Let it shape me through and through. I don't take much stock in heaven. If I can't make this right with you, let me reckon with my blessings. Let me find my way to you. 'Cause I ain't afraid of living. I never say I got nothing to lose. Cause it's true, most of the time I'm treading water with no sign. Keeping my head just high enough to holler. If you believe, then I believe too.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I love
Thank
it.
you. Thank you.
Holler, the title track to the new album for Amy Ray, who's in our studios. You call this the most sonically ambitious album to date.
True.
And I can understand. You got all these sounds going on, the dobro, the mandolin, the fiddle, and horns too, I guess.
Yeah, we did. So we have a few other band members. We have a drummer and a bass player and a guy that plays pedal steel and dobro and banjo. And in the studio we had Kofi Burbridge on keyboards, who's passed away since. We had Allison Brown playing banjo, and then we had a horn section and a string section. So we did the core of the band live to tape, and then we came in and brought the horns in live to tape, and the strings went to tape as well.
And the vocalists, I mean, all these.
Yeah, all those. Yeah,
Randy Carlisle, Vince Gill. I
Yeah.
mean, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
you really went all out on this album.
Yeah, I had some good friends that pitched in
Mm-hmm.
to do stuff for sure.
Any punk? I mean, I know you're with the Butchies. You do your punk thing on the side.
Yeah, we did. It has like a couple of kind of more punky songs on it. Sparrow's Boogie is a punky song, and a song called Daggum Down, which is a little more unusual. But the punk rock and the Butchies are kind of another time, and now we're trying to work back in some of those songs. Although the Butchies are disbanded and all in their separate ways, but we're working some of those old punk rock type songs back in. But these records really focused on country. But Holler, I wanted to have a little more swagger and boogie in it, so that's why we brought in horns, and we kind of were a little bit freer in some ways because I think we had played together for so long. That band had already been playing for about 5 years together.
You do so many things and you do them so well. I mean, if somebody said to you, Amy, you got to pick one.
You're always making me pick.
I am making you choose. You can choose songwriting or you can choose singing. What are you going to pick?
Oh man.
Oh man. It's like picking your kids, right? Which
I mean,
one do you love more?
I love singing, but writing is. I'm not where I want to be as a writer yet. I'm still evolving towards that. I got to work on melody more. That's my hope.
Wow.
I study Burt Bacharach, because that's like the guy, to study, and Joni Mitchell, and Carole King, what a great writer, Jerry Goff, and I mean, so I study all those great melody writers to try to like up that game. So I'll probably say songwriting.
Well, you're legendary already, so for you to say something
For
like
other
that.
things.
Yeah. We've got Amy Ray in our studios, and I hope you'll come back when, you know, the Indigo Girls are on tour.
Oh, yeah,
I'd
we're
love to have
making
you
a
back.
new record. We're
Make it
mixing
seventh time. I promise I'll
Yeah,
get you
yeah, yeah.
something that says 7 on
If you
it.
get us like a boxing robe or
I
something.
will. I'll get you a robe, some slippers. You can...
Yeah, we'll come back. We got a new record coming out in January. We're mixing it right now, so we'll come back for sure. Of course, we love you.
Thank you for your support. We love you
Yeah,
too.
man. It's
People want to
great.
get your album, your website, I'm sure, among many places,
Yeah,
Amazon, iTunes.
amy-ray.com.
Amy-ray.com.
You can also just go on iTunes or Spotify. It's on
Mm-hmm.
Spotify if you want to just get it, listen to it.
All right.
I don't care how you do it.
Just get it.
Just
get
play
it.
and-
Get with it.
yeah, I don't. And you know, I've got my own little mail order, but just do what I don't care. You know, get it for free. Whatever you need to do.
Important
Just
messages
get
on
it.
the album.
Yeah.
Pay attention to the lyrics. This is one songwriter right here that you want to pay attention to the lyrics because there's a lot of thought. That
Or
goes
not.
into- No. You got it. No. Don't shortchange Amy Ray. So thank you so much for coming on. What's the last?
You know,
song
we're
we
gonna
did?
go back to Goodnight Tender, that record, and do a song called Duane Allman.
Oh, yeah.
Just because we feel like it. And,
Why not? Amy Ray.
All right. She came on up from way across the air, from a whiskey swamp and a vagabond clan, with a tune in her bucket and her head held high, and a book about her grandpa flying the skies. I said, man, it ain't never gonna be the same, and no, I'll give him a chance. No one can play like Duane. It was back in the fall of '71. Duane met a flatbed coming home, with a song in the charts and his heart to flying through the air. He was just hitting the stride when the angels fell. Said, man, it ain't never gonna be the same, and no, I'll give him a chance. No one can play like Duane. We lose the best, we lose the rest, we lose them all along the way. Hey, and we learn to dig down deep, wipe our hands, walk away from the grave. She said, I got a hole that just won't fit, deep as the sky that won't be lit. Down on the wing, just won't fly. And I'll be carrying this tune till the angels cry. Said, man, it ain't never gonna be the same. And no one give him a chance, and no one can play like Duane. Said, man, it ain't never gonna be the same. And no one give him a chance, no one can play like Duane.
Amy Ray, thank you so much for being on Border Crossings.
Thanks for having us.
What a pleasure to see you
Thank
guys
you.
again. Come back and
Thanks.
see us soon. It's Amy Ray, and Holler is the name of the new album. I'm Larry London, and you're tuned to the Voice of America.